All right, thank you so much, Raucus. 18 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock, and it's in our morning show here on TTT. I am Natalie Legore. Ever considered HR? Well, if you did, and if you are in the field, this is probably one of the greatest opportunities for you to network, to learn from each other, because we're having the biggest Caribbean HR forum right now in the heights of the pandemic. No problem. It's all virtual. And more importantly, it is free. So let us welcome to the program this time Francis A. Wade from Carib HR Forum, who is here to talk to us about carving out a new Caribbean workspace. Good morning to you, Francis.
Great to be here with you, Natalie.
Thank you so much for joining us. So this is not the first time you all are doing this, but whatever made you all decide to bring all HR people into one space to share their experiences, to learn from each other, to network? Whatever made you all decide to take on this humongous task?
I can blame my Trini friends for inviting me down to a carnival back in '97. Jumping in Poison, I enjoyed the experience so much. I stayed on for a couple of weeks afterwards and fell in love with Trinidad. Eventually married a Trinidadian, and after working in Trinidad, working in Barbados, and here in Jamaica, I realized people aren't talking to each other, in the profession, HR profession. As a management consultant, I worked with them, and they didn't know each other. So in 2003, I started Carib HR Forum. It was an online network, just a mailing list at the time, and brought together the first 10 people, and 10 has grown into, depending how you count it, 3,000, 4,000 thereabouts.
But that's very interesting that we are so knitted. We share so much of our cultures together and so much of our spaces, but not in HR.
I know
How
that's
shocking that must have been.
I know. I was shocked, and people had tried before, but the problem is the plane fares. It's the cost of the plane fares that to get people moving around. So each country had its own conference, but
Right.
no one was talking to each other. So now we're actually getting together virtually because we have the online. And these tools that we're using only became available about 3 years ago.
We're also discussing career day here. What do you say to somebody to make, HR as their career? What is it about this field and, being in this portfolio that would drive people to be a part of it?
This is absolutely the most fun profession to be in for the next year and a half to 2 years. Why? Because every workspace is being changed because of COVID. So COVID has shaken things up. And what
Yeah.
good executives know is that things can't go back to the way they were. We already know that, right? I mean, I have
Yes.
friends in the States right now whose bosses are telling them to come back to the office because it's time. They don't want to go back. They're quitting. They're looking for work. So these are all HR problems. How do you move forward to a new normal? And there's never been a more exciting, fulfilling, or potential filled time to be in HR than there is right now. Right now, this is like the best time to be in HR for in terms of most people's absolute
So
total
you believe
career.
that the pandemic has created a space where more people are going to be looking at that because you need more critical thinkers and problem solvers who are really HR people, to try to treat with human resources and the issues that we may face in the workplace.
Right, because the problems that they have to face are people problems now. I mean, IT has its place, and technology will always be important, but it doesn't come before people.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely agree with you. So, all right, so you all decided to come together and have this Carib HR Forum. Am I pronouncing it correctly? I'm just pronouncing it as I see it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
nice. And so, when is this happening? And is it just people who are already in HR who can join, or is it open to everybody?
So this is open to everyone, absolutely free registration, um, and mostly, of course, most people who are attending are in HR, and we're currently in day 2 of 3 days. And this is our second virtual conference, by the way. We had one last year. This is the second one. And from what we're seeing right now in terms of the numbers, it's grown, and there's way more participation from people. What it is our audience has gotten used to the idea. Last year it was like, what? Conference, virtual? Is that even real? Is that a thing? This year it's Oh yeah, because everybody has been on so many Zoom webinars, and they've been using technology to talk to each other in new ways since COVID.
Yeah.
So this is now kind of like, oh yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah, but you know what? In the release I saw that last year you had over 1,350 people participating, and you're talking about virtually. So now with the experience, I think it has given you the platform to say, okay, we can do it. But are there challenges, or what are the challenges that you would have faced trying to bring the Caribbean together in that kind of way to discuss HR issues and I guess to teach people how to be excellent HR managers?
Well, as you probably know, HR is not exactly the hotbed of new technology. Most HR managers aren't exactly the ones who you look to problem solve big problems with respect to the server. Why is it not working? You know, it, so one of the challenges that we had, and more so in the past, was that teaching HR professionals to use these new technologies in the
Oh,
past was very difficult. Now there's a big openness to it, but there's still a learning curve. So I have people trying to log in, they don't really know how to. They're using old equipment. There are other kind of obstacles that I imagine if I were having an IT conference that nobody would really call me with. But we get sort of beginner problems. So we have a great help desk and a great team behind the help desk. And I don't know if I've mentioned that I run Carib HR Forum with my colleague and wife, Dale Pilgrim Wade. She's a Trini. And the two of us kind of foster the group along, even though it's a lot of people. And those who have a hard time with the technology, we try to baby them and kind of
yeah.
go like one step
And
at a
you know
time so
what?
they can.
You know what, Francis? It's interesting that you all are doing this because realistically, when we think of HR, we think of a very hands-on approach because you're dealing with personalities and people, not necessarily the technology. So now we have to see that transition to dealing with HR, but on an online platform. And as you said, it's good because now, because of the pandemic, people are more open to treating with this because you know what? We don't really have a choice. We
That's
still
exactly right.
we still have to treat with these issues and we still have to get people. But you know, how do you get people? I know you obviously you enjoy, but I'm still trying to figure out how do you say when you go, let's say if you have to do a career day and you visit a school, what is that sell to the child to say this is a career path, it's a good one, and you can invest in it and it can be rewarding. Let me hear your pitch.
when I go, I go to the fact that if you love people and you like serving people, taking care of people, and giving back, then
Yeah.
this is the profession to be in. Because not only do you get to talk to people, but you also get to put in their hands technologies that allow them to grow, allow them to expand, allow them to connect with people. And also, I know this is fun day, but there's some people who are having a really hard time during this transition.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have people in your workplace who are, by virtue of COVID and the disease, and it's hitting family
People in my
members.
workplace, I'm having a hard time.
You're looking good though, but all right. So
Well, that's
there's
what
a
you do. Just you fake it until you make it, right?
that's what and that worked for so long, right? But people who tend to be in HR tend to have that empathetic streak. So they want to do more than just manage people. They actually want to take care of them in the holistic sense. So for someone who is young and wants to do that, the challenge is how do you do that virtually? How do you accomplish all of that? And you've got to think differently. You've got to know technology. You've got to use something very similar to social media. You need to use live video broadcasts like we're using. You need to use chat rooms. You need to use all these tools on mobile and on laptop to bring communities and people together who otherwise would have met in person.
Yeah. So is that the focus of the Carib HR Forum this year to teach them how to use the technology to do what they'd normally do face to face? Or are there other aspects
That's
of
a
HR that you all will be looking at?
that's a side benefit. The biggest focus this year is leadership because for
Sorry?
HR it's leadership.
Okay.
Because for HR to take its role in shaping the next 18 months, the moving to the new normal,
Right.
HR needs to not be just waiting for things to happen. HR needs to be leading the way. And leading the way requires a new mindset and a new skill set in this environment. So HR needs to
And
retool itself.
coming out of last year's conference, have you seen that shift has started already where people, having had the experience of last year, taking some of those tools that they would have learned and applying it in the workplace?
Yeah, so we've heard of people using some of the same approaches that we use in our conference back in their workplace. So they're more comfortable doing, for example, group calls or even large scale group meetings or group webinars. Imagine a company doing a group webinar inside the company using
Yeah,
tools like Zoom, for example. But there's a whole art to doing this thing. You can't just turn on a camera and start to talk because you lose people. You need to use engaging technologies that
right.
make the if you need to be on for a whole day training, for example, you can't just sit in front of your computer. You
Yes.
fall asleep. It gets boring, right? You go check your email, you go check Facebook, you go do anything except have to look at that little screen all day. You'll be on your phone. So part of what we're teaching people is how do you engage your audience when all you have is a screen. Um,
So this is day 2 of the Carib HR Forum. Are we still accepting people since there's one more day to go?
Absolutely. People can join in today. Tomorrow morning we're having Mariano Brown. He's a keynote speaker. Um, and so there's a whole lot to come. We've barely gone a third of the way. So absolutely.
All right, talk to us about how they can join. If there's somebody listening now who decides that this is definitely something, that I want to be a part of, how do they where do they go to register? How do they register?
Sure. Our website is virtual, CONF, caribhrforum.com. And they can also find us at caribhrforum.com because there's a link there back to our conference website. And it's free, as
Right.
you said before.
And you said that the registration is free, but after you register, are there other opportunities, where you have, you have your premium, your gold, your platinum kind of deal in the background where that people can access, for a cost, of course.
Yes, because a lot of people are at work today. So we offer a package of all of the recordings from the conference, which is more than 50 hours for a pretty good price. So you purchase this package,
What
called
currency, darling? What currency?
US dollars, yes.
450 US dollars.
No, oh no, 99 US dollars.
Oh, 99. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. It's 50 hours of content,
Oh,
more than 50 hours. So you're basically purchasing a package that will allow you to review the entire conference for a whole year at your leisure, as opposed to trying to squeeze it all up into 3 days.
yeah. And they can same, how do you access that? Same through caribhrforum.com?
Right. It's called an all access pass. And just come to the conference website and you can claim it. There's a discount going on until the end of the conference tomorrow, and then the price goes up again after the conference is over.
Right. Well, it sounds like you have it all figured out. That's definitely for sure. And I know that people will definitely, be a part of this because it's such a great opportunity. As I said, when you think of HR, I think people just think of just the physical one-to-one interaction or group interactions. And now this is an opportunity for them to learn to use the technology, to use the social media tools to do their work and probably in a much more exciting and enthusiastic way, you know?
Absolutely.
Right. So as I said, if you love people, that's the career for you. And I
That's
think if you
exactly
love
right.
problem solving as well and critical thinking, because God knows when you're dealing with personalities, it's not always easy.
It is definitely not. And in these times, it's become exponentially more difficult and more challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're all dealing with our own individual stories, re-COVID, re-our health, Yeah. All
Exactly
right,
right.
Francis Wade, I think definitely. So started yesterday, going on till tomorrow. They can register at caribhrforum.com. Is there a number that they can call as well to get more information?
We don't have a number. We have a WhatsApp connection on the website. There's a WhatsApp group, and they
Okay,
can link through the WhatsApp group and then go straight to the help desk if they need help.
right. All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. Congratulations on having your Carib HR Forum. But one more, what countries are participating in it this year?
I could list them all off, but I'll give you the two boundaries. All the way from Bermuda to Belize, to Suriname, and every English-speaking country in between, including Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao.
Okay, so we're starting from the tip of South
Yes.
America straight down to the tip of North America, the tip of
Kind of the Atlantic. Bermuda is up there.
end of US straight
Right,
down to the beginning of South America.
right, exactly. Right.
All right, Francis, thank you so
Caribbean.
much for speaking with us this morning, and all the best with Carib HR Forum. I think it's definitely a great initiative.
Thanks, Natalie. All the best.
Yes. Francis Wade there from Carib HR Forum speaking to us. He says, if you love people, this is definitely the career for you if you're considering a new career path. And of course, they're teaching you all the different ways you can use the social media and technology, to kind of make your job a little bit more exciting, but more importantly, the conference is focused on leadership. So you can join caribhrforum.com. And when you go there, there's also a WhatsApp number that you can use to troubleshoot your questions. We take a break here on the Now Morning Show, and we'll be back with you.